Okay, we trying this again now. Let's get it. I'm about to grab him. Come on, this gotta work this time. It's gotta work this time. Let's go. Soon as Nate comes in here, we gonna get started. We are going to get started. Nate, I need to see your name. All I need to do is see your name, babe. Champagne Doctor, we need you in the house. We need to get it together. The first time, you know what, when you starting something new, I swear the enemy tries to battle you so that it doesn't work. But it's gonna work. It's gonna work. Let's go. I'm waiting for you. You got to come in, Nate. If he come in, as soon as he come in. Hey, brother. I know this thing got stretched way past 6, so I hope my people still gonna be here with me in the end. I just want to get both hosts together so we can get started on the. I sent him the invite. If he comes in, then I can grab him on the camera. I got it all ready to go, but I need him to come in. Did he get off the other one, Devin? There you go. There you go. Okay, let's prove. Please pop up on this screen, Champagne. Okay, we're gonna try one more time, y'all. Let's see if I can add them. For some reason, it's not letting me add them. I cannot believe this is happening. I've been waiting to get on this topic. Y'all think it's an Android and iPhone thing or what? Okay, let's do it one more time. Let's see if it works. I just added him. He's coming in.
The back seat be needing it.
Hey! We got the green light!
Are we in here? Oh, we in there, cuz.
We in here! Yes! Now, where is our audience? Let's go. Let's go. I'm about to send everybody an invite to get them on in. Let's go ahead and get our audience back, and then we're going to get started. Communication. Ooh, now we know what we got to do. So next week, we won't be having technical difficulties slowing us down, right?
Let me stop touching stuff.
Yeah, bro, you need to relax.
Is that your wife in the background?
Well, see, Summer came down for spring break. She brought her good
Summer!
friend. I have my throw her on here real quick.
Hello.
Hi, babe.
Hey.
My love, I miss you.
I miss you too. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. I mean, God is good, right?
Always. He got me here.
He's taking good care of us. Are
How
you
long
going to
you
be at the
drove?
family reunion?
Of course.
Ooh, I'm gonna be
Of
there. I
course.
got my ticket. I can't wait to see everybody. I'm hoping.
Ah, turn up.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's going down. So, me and Champagne, we might get together and do our podcast while we out there together. So I'm just
Hey, they might.
building the audience back up. It's coming up. So we about to get started.
Mm-hmm.
We
Gonna
do
be lit.
apologize for the technical difficulties. Tell them what you think, Champagne. What you think? What you got to say
What you
about
mean?
the technical difficulties?
Listen, you got to keep it moving. That's what we doing is living and learning for, because when I was a kid, I had anger issues, kicked out of games, snapping on referees, know what I mean, fighting. My pops had to come drag me off the floor one time because they tried to kick me out the game, and I was like, I ain't getting off the floor. I ain't getting off the floor. Referee trying to tell me go. I said I ain't going because you bogus and your call was bogus. Pops had to come get me. But all I'm trying to say is that we live and learning because, you know what I mean, even though you had these obstacles, you just gotta focus your mind, you know what I mean, and not even worry about those. Just a bump in the road. Go over that little bump, boom, boom, and keep it moving. That's it.
I definitely agree. So
Yeah.
this is why our podcast is called Living and Learning, because we've been through the most. He said he got kicked out of a game. I'm sitting there thinking I got kicked out of school. They was like, "You going to school?" I swear my whole family was like, "What is she gonna amount to?" When I was a kid, and now it feels good, that they're so proud of me that I've learned
Mhm.
so much. It took some time, though. We all know. Champagne, though, it took some
Mhm.
time for me to be able to grow and learn. And so the reason why we doing this is because we want to get back to our cousins, to our community. If you're not a blood cousin,
And
you
that's
are a
everybody.
blood cousin. You
Mhm.
know, everybody's a distant cousin. So this is
All day.
why we living and learning with our cousins.
With
So
cousins, y'all gonna
tonight,
help us learn
that's right. So tonight, me and Champagne, we are gonna break down communication.
communication.
I think that this is like the best topic to start with because, man, it's like the key to everything. At work, it's the key to success. It's the key to relationships. And when we use the word relationships, we think beyond, just a married couple or boyfriend, girlfriend. We talking about friends, co-workers, business
Mhm.
partners, cousins, mothers, dads, brothers, sisters, siblings. So we gonna break it down for you. So one of the things that I definitely wanted to talk about and bring up first, and you chime in whenever you want to, Champagne,
For sure.
silence. Silence. Communication. We talking about communication. So if you just hold it in, oh, that's the worst thing to do. Is it good to think about it, get your words right? Make sure you're calm because you definitely don't want to be talking while you're upset. That's one of the things I had to learn. It took me years to learn that. To not speak while I'm upset. Like the words aren't gonna come out right. I'm not thinking right. My mind on fire.
Not only that, when you talk when you're upset, you say things that you don't mean, well, and you may regret later on because you just giving this fire. When really you're right, you should just calm it down. Really think about what you're gonna say because what you say, even if someone says like, "Oh, I forgive you for it," they ain't forget, and it's gonna come up later on down the line. Now, I mean, when they say they forgive you, but it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna come on down the line. If something else come up, they go like, "Yo, and you said this," you gonna be like, "Yo, you said you forgave me," but it's something you probably shouldn't have said in the first place. Know what I mean, so you gotta take ownership for that.
That is big. That's huge. Taking ownership. I could talk and cut. Man, my words, I know how to use my words to cut like a knife. I had to take ownership of knowing that that's what I was doing in order to change it. And it took a lot of growth within me, and it took a lot of working on myself and loving myself to know my issues. That was a
True.
huge issue. My sister used to beat me up when we were kids, and it was because I had the tongue, the sharp
Got
tongue,
that mouth.
and she couldn't do nothing about it. The only thing she could do was beat me up.
Yo, you remember when Auntie Shell made you jump out the window that one day because you was talking and all that? Hmm.
I'll
It
never
go
forget
way
that.
back.
I'll never forget that. She was upset with me. And she was like, "You ain't
Mm-hmm.
going nowhere." And I wound up jumping out the window, y'all. And that, you know what? You know, we got so much to share with y'all, and we got so many different topics. That's why we're doing this every week with you, because that's a whole nother, you know, nature. We got a whole nother, that's a whole nother subject. We can talk about that. But let's see, we got a question in here, Champagne. We got, how do you communicate when you don't have the words to say?
Mm.
That's a good
That's
question. I would answer it, or you want that one? What you
Nah, go
think?
ahead. Go ahead. I give my opinion after you.
So when I don't have the words to say, I take time. This is an issue with us today. What we do is we jump into respond. I think we don't listen to understand what the other person is saying, because what the other person is saying matters. It matters to them. If it matters to someone you love or someone you're building a relationship with, any type of relationship, then it should matter to you. So you need to try to understand what they're saying before you can
Mm-hmm.
get your words right. If you feel like you don't have the words to say, that's because you're not listening to understand where they're coming from. Because you got to have compassion to the other person's side. It can't just be
Mm-hmm.
me, 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 me. That's going to
True
be a
that.
failure with communication. If it's always
Mm-hmm.
me, 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 you
That's
know?
true.
So usually when I don't have the words, I usually, the way that I have, and I don't even want to say perfection is never accomplished. So I don't want to say perfection, but the way that I've gotten better at communicating is taking a little bit of time to think about what the other person is saying so I can get my words right to be able to
Right.
respond.
So I feel like when you don't have the words to say, that means you ain't ready to say nothing yet. Like there's been times when I'm upset, right? And then what you really feel like doing is snapping and saying the first thing that's on your mind. But if you just chill, right, and really get down to the core of why you upset, sometimes you got to think about it. Like, man, why am I really upset? You got to like weed through all of the BS down to why you're really upset, And then once you realize what really made you upset, then maybe you can articulate that to the person. And you always, when you articulate that, you want to articulate it in an adult manner. Like, you don't have to snap. Like you can disagree in a calm way, and that helps actually resolution to come faster. Because sometimes if you just snap, they're not even hearing what you're saying. All they really seeing is an aggressive person talking to them, which will make their level rise up. And then you see their level rising up. You're not really listening to them, and then the level's getting too high, and then I mean that's too much. So sometimes you just gotta just take it down a notch and just get to the core and just display it and just say it. Simple as that.
That is an amazing point that you made. And we brought it up a little bit before. One thing that I learned over the years in my growth is to not speak when I'm upset. Just don't do it. Yeah, that's horrible communication when you're speaking when you're upset, because you're not
Mhm.
even thinking it out. You're talking off emotions. That's the problem. We deal with so many situations off emotions.
Mhm.
In most situations, especially, being married now, coming up on 2 years, I realized that I can't have my emotions involved in every single situation. Man, I
Mm-mm.
will have you have a heart attack at a young age or a stroke. You can't involve emotions in everything. Of course, you
Mm-mm.
love that person, but love is not going to get you till the end of life together. I
I agree with
promise you
that.
that.
I agree with
It's not.
that.
It's going to be compromised. Sometimes you may give in to something that you don't want to do.
Hmm.
People.
Sometimes when you make a decision, sometimes when you make a decision, you actually have to take emotions out of it because sometimes that makes you act irrationally when you're just acting off of emotion. You have to like honestly, a lot of time when you make a decision with your emotion, you a lot of times make the wrong decision. So you want to kind of, I mean, I know it's hard to do, especially when you're in a moment, but you really do want to just rationalize, you know, and then that actually get you to a better decision, which actually prepare you into a better future because your future is based on your present decisions. You know what I mean, so I think that's important.
That's correct. When I think back on the years, especially like as a teenager and in my 20s, I didn't think anything else. And I just thought I knew everything. I hadn't experienced anything. Once the experiences started to come, that's when the growth started to come. Let's
Hmm.
see. We have another question from Devin. Devin, you good with these questions? Let's see. How do you explain yourself when the other person doesn't want to hear it? Ooh. Okay, go with
Listen,
that,
that's
Nate, because
now
that's a
that's
tough
our
one for me.
hey. So it's crazy because that makes me think about, a couple of times with me and my babe because, you know, I'm I have the ability to be overbearing. If I feel like I'm trying to get my point across, you need to hear it now. Nigga, ain't no later. Ahora. Okay? Ahora. If you don't know what that means, I mean now. Okay? But and that person who you're speaking with, they may not be ready to receive it right now. So, and that's hard, and that's hard for me sometimes. Cause I'll be like, yo, I want to get it out now, cause I like to like go ahead and tackle it right now, so we can get back to even. But sometimes since it's a partnership, you got to compromise and just you have to wait until they're ready to receive it, and then the point you're trying to get across, then they'll be able to actually hear it instead of you talking to a brick wall. Cause we didn't. I can bring up some issues. Sometimes we done been in the club and then we had a little issue, right? And then I take her outside, and you seen that angry couple at the club, right? And then I'm just talking all this, and then but alcohol flowing, and then she not really listening, and I'm just like, yo, you're not even listening. And I know she's not listening, but I'm still trying to make her listen. And then I'm being overbearing, Then it's just not it. So sometimes you just gotta just go to sleep. But not even go to sleep. Whatever. Just take some time so everyone calm down their levels and they
It's
both can understand each
okay. That's right. It's okay to set it aside because with people in relationships, you have to love them where they are. We are so, as human beings, so selfish. So selfish. Like, even when we lose loved ones, and I could think, hey, Brie, what's going on,
other.
Brie, Brie? When I lost my grandmother, our grandmother, I was selfish.
Hmm.
I didn't want to lose her. I didn't want her to be gone, but I knew that she was tired. That's not fair. That's not fair
That's true.
for me to say, oh, well, it doesn't matter that you was tired. I want to keep you here with me. That's
Hmm.
that actually is another lesson within itself. But sometimes you got to love people right where they are. They're not, like he said, ready to receive the information you're trying to give them. They're not ready
Hmm.
to accept that that's how you feel. And it takes so much. What up, cuz?
You see him? Oli, Oli, yo. What up, though?
And that's a great point. Like sometimes they're not ready to receive it. And that just gives you more time to get your words right
And
for
it
when
takes
the
two
time
to
is.
communicate,
That's right. They have to be
at
able
least.
to accept it and receive it in order for you to give it. You can't give it and they're not willing to receive it. That's the whole point of communication.
That's really real.
Hey, Leslie!
Leslie, what up,
Glad to
though?
see
Ooh,
you
I ain't seen you forever, though. Hey, you said the same thing I said.
in. So, Champagne, tell me another point of communication you wanted to speak on tonight. I know you got
Man,
things in your mind that you wanted to speak on because I got a few other points, but let's tackle one of yours.
man, I ain't gonna lie. So I'm gonna switch it just a little bit. We still talking about communication. Let me tell you what I got a problem with. I got a problem with people when I send them a text. I send them a text, and they don't read the whole text, bro. Okay, they don't read the whole text out. They just read like skim through it and they miss points. And then, I mean, I'm expecting them that they read it because we all can read. We can read every single word. We've been doing this since elementary. And then I get to talking to them, bro, and it's like they ain't even read what I said. So I'm like, bro, why didn't I send you a text? So then we miscommunicating because I'm expecting him to know a certain thing or meet me at a certain place or a certain time, and then they ain't know because they ain't read the whole thing, and then, so then it's miscommunication. I don't really like that, bro. Cause when I text, I ain't gonna lie, I text a book sometimes
Do you?
because there's a lot of information I'm trying to give you. Cause I'm a detailed dude, and I give you all the information. Like real talk, if you read my text, you won't ever have to ask me nothing. Cause I gave you everything you need. But these fools still be calling me and asking me. I'm like, you ain't read the text, do you? My
You didn't
bad, bro.
catch it.
Nah, I ain't read it.
You
Killing me.
know what? I got a perspective on text, and this is why we doing this together. You get the male. You got the two genders. You got the
Hmm.
two different perspectives. You got the two different experiences. We want to give it all because we want to be able to give you the information to help you in your day to day, right?
Hmm.
My perspective on text. So if you just coming in, I see a few people just coming in. Um,
Oh, Tyson, what up, cuz?
I know, right?
Miss Lachey, what up, girl?
Hey, Shay. Hey, Cookie. Hi, Kevin. I'm Cheryl. Hey.
You see what she said? She said she heard if the text is more than one line, people won't read it.
I actually, well, I agree
I
with
got a problem with that.
that, but I also agree with
It's
what you
true.
say, Nate. Like I read the whole thing, and sometimes I read it 3 times because,
Hmm.
and what I was going to say about that is, I don't think texting is the best way of communicating. That's my perspective
I agree.
because I feel
I
like
agree
it
with that.
can be misconstrued, it can be misunderstood, and thank you, boo. And I rather, well, the best form of communication that I feel is, and I'm sure it's scientifically proven because I researched it, is you know me, I'm a Virgo. That's what we do. We research things, but is face to face. So, what would be the next best thing if everybody communicating by phone?
Ring, 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 ring.
That's right.
Ring,
So,
ring, ring, ring.
sending the book. And this is why I love doing this with you because I can learn from you. You go learn from me. I feel like I learn from my grandson sometimes. You know, some
Mhm.
things he teach me, and he only one. But if you need to send a book, you might as well just call.
I should call him, huh? Hey, but
Yeah,
boom. But
because
what
it's
about
gonna
this
be
though? But what about
misunderstood.
this though? Like,
Hey,
what if
Zay.
you communicating? What if you're communicating with a lot of people? Like, because sometimes I throw like parties and shindigs, or I'm trying to get something together, so I ain't got time to call all them fools and tell them all the same thing 38 times. I'm just gonna send this mass text and just read it, man. And just read it, bruh. I mean, we got books. Like everybody got books in the crib. It's less than that. Like, come on, just read it,
That's
dog. Just
true.
read
We read
it.
them.
Like, come
Man, I
on.
didn't read a book that, was probably 1,000 pages. That's true. I mean, we can read. That's true. I just think, well, I mean, you want to touch multiple people at one time. Text is good for that. I agree. I agree.
Mhm.
Hey, Raphael. Hey, Nick. We see y'all coming on in.
Hey.
Tonight, we breaking down communication. And right now, we are talking about text, communicating with text. Champagne
Hmm.
don't like it when he's sending a text message and people don't read it. They don't
They
read
don't
the
read
whole
it, man.
thing.
Don't nobody read it. I ain't gonna lie to you. Nobody
My,
read it. Like, I'm getting married soon, bro, and I be sending out these texts. Bro, these niggas just do not be reading. And I told them, when we all get together, I'm snapping on everybody. I mean, in a loving way, though. I told them I'm
right.
overbearing a little bit. But I'm gonna let them know how I feel about that. Hey, I'm everybody daddy on that day. I'm gonna let them know. When I text you, you read it. That's how I feel.
Yes. Um, hey, is that Auntie Birdie? Hey, Auntie Birdie. So yes,
Now,
Leslie. That who else did I miss in here? Oh, I got everybody. So
oh,
that
wait, Devin said he asked a
Leslie.
question. Oh, but go ahead, finish what you're saying though. Then we can get to Devin's question.
Okay. So Leslie, she said she asked a question. What about nonverbal communication? That's crazy because that was one of my bullet points I wanted to touch, and you hitting on it. You know what? You guys don't let us hit our bullet points because you are our cousins and you are involved and you interacting. I love it. The nonverbal communication is probably the most meaningful because if I got to tell you something that I think you may not like. I don't want to tell you like this. Why you gotta leave that TV on? I've learned over the growth in the years, and I'm gonna be like, can you please turn the TV off before you go to bed? because
Hmm.
because that nonverbal part, that and the looks and the faces, that make people feel offended, you know,
Hmm.
and they get defensive. As human beings, we have this defense mechanism that where those the nonverbal can make that come out very quickly. What you think,
Hmm.
Champagne Doctor?
So yeah, I mean, as far as nonverbal communication, let me tell you one thing that really strikes me when I think about that. Like me personally, I don't really need anybody to tell me that they love me or they enjoy being around me or anything like that because I read body language, right? Even if you told me that you didn't enjoy being around me and I see you laughing and you're smirking, I'm like, nigga, you lying. Like, why you ain't gotta tell me that? I like reading people. I like reading. I like reading everybody. To be honest with you, I kind of hear what you say, but really, I'm really focusing on what your body's telling me because that don't really lie. That's why people be failing them lie detector tests because they read your body and your body don't lie. Your blood pressure changes, your breathing changes, your eye contact changes, like all of that. So, nonverbal communication is so big, like it's superiorly big. I mean, is that a real word? Y'all know what I meant though.
We know what
But
you
yeah, yeah, man, it's
Yes.
like that's a big thing. Like I don't I told my girl well, I tell her all the time, like I don't really need her to tell that she love me, I could just tell by how when I'm with her, and the things that she does to me, and it's really off of actions and your body language because even if you say something, if your body's doing something different, believe the body. Okay, if somebody telling you something but their actions and their body doing something else, believe that part because communication is 70% nonverbal, only 30% is through the mouth.
You better believe it. Hey, Roxy, Tammy, I see you in here. Let's go. So we were talking about nonverbal communication is the most important, and it's true. It's true. And I actually agree with Champagne Doctor that when I tell my husband he's very lovey-dovey, and I'm more practical. I like things planned out. I'm organized. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And he tell me it a million times a day, but he shows me 10 million times a day. So I tell him like he want to kiss every day. I can't even take my coat off. Walking in the door, he want to kiss. Yes, it makes me feel special, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
actually need that because I know you love me. Like he does it so much, and I'm like, ooh, boy, it's too much.
It feels effortless, don't it? Don't it feel effortless?
I know. So I definitely agree. He probably in here watching, baby. I love you. Okay.
Verbally,
He liked that verbal. That's his love language.
I know.
That's a good
Some people,
book.
yeah, some people do. Some
That's
people
a
do.
good book to watch, to
Mm-hmm.
read. I think it's
Love language.
the four love languages. That's a great book to
Mm-hmm.
read because that'll also help you with relationships as well. And we may
Mm-hmm.
drop books in our blog. But you know why? Because I read a lot, and that's what helped me change a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
Devin, okay. I know he done mentioned it twice. He won. Look, he's down there. Is he screaming my name? Is that him?
That boy wanna
Oh,
know.
that's Tammy. Hey, Tammy.
Oh, she said
Hey,
there's
Sheila.
there's five little languages. You right? We're gonna get on that one day though.
Hey, oh, that's Tamia. Hey, Tamia. Yeah. So every week, I mean, we decided we don't want to, because we could be in here for hours with y'all. We don't want to bombard y'all with so much information in one week. But that's why we're gonna do a topic every week, and we're coming in here every week with y'all with a new topic. But today is communication, and we got Devin's question. It's hard for me to express what I am feeling. How do I get past that? Mm, 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 mm.
I'm be
Let me
100 with you. Oh,
marinate
you
right
can start this off? Or you want me
No,
to
you
start off?
go ahead. No, you go ahead. I'll marinate on that one.
So as a man, you know, we ain't really taught to be emotional, bro. We ain't, and to be honest, growing up, we was in Chicago and stuff. When you were emotional, and showing your emotions on your sleeve, you was looked at like you was soft, So that's something that you really will have to dig deep and become really super comfortable with yourself first to be able to express yourself, right? So like when I was younger, I super nonchalant. Boy, I could tell you so many stories about how nonchalant I was and how it messed up a lot of my relationships. And I ain't just talking about like, love relationships or like boyfriend, girlfriend. I mean like relationships with friends and other people. Like I was so nonchalant that people thought I actually didn't care. So like when some of the things happen where these people either leave or like be mad at me, like, you ain't even showing me nothing, like. And I was like, man, it's all good. Um, I had to learn like dang, because I didn't want them to go, and I did care about them. I had to learn that you have to give them something. Sometimes you have to give, even if it's not normal or natural within you. You got to give them something so that they can know, that you have that emotion inside of you, and that'll help them to, I guess, grab a little more of you and understand you also. So like, yeah, bro, you just have to, like I said, become okay with whatever it is inside yourself first, and then you'll be able to go ahead and express yourself freely.
Yes. So to piggyback off of Champagne Doctor, I definitely agree with what he's saying. This is something within you. This is something you battling, which to me is like another topic that we can talk about on a different day. But you, this is something you're struggling with. Sometimes we have things inside us that we struggle with and we're not willing to face. And in order to face it, that's a fear. You don't want to express your feelings because, answer the question.
You'll be vulnerable.
You don't want to express your feelings because, right? You got to
I'm
think about,
scared.
what was that?
because we scared. We don't know how people gonna take it. We don't know how we're gonna be perceived after we let go of that raw emotion and how we really feel deep inside of our core. Cause it's scary, it's vulnerable when you let people know exactly how you're feeling. So I'm gonna get one more story, yo. So like, yo, the first time I realized I was falling in love with my girl, we was in Orlando. We was like on this trip with these other couples, and everybody went into Publix. But like we had a good night. Right? Everybody went to Publix except me and my girl. We sit in the car, and I just felt this overwhelming emotion to tell her how I felt about her. But I was scared to tell her because I knew that once I told her this, that she would have one up on me. She like, oh, I
Mhm.
got this nigga wrapped. I was scared, yeah. I ain't even want no girl ever in life to ever feel like I was wrapped. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
But that's I had to like, and I straight up told her, I said, man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared to tell you how I feel right now. And I started off with that, but I told her, and I ain't gonna lie, I cried. I cried, bro. I don't even cry,
It's
but it was
okay.
real.
It's
It was
okay to
real.
cry.
I cried and I told her how I felt about her. And then what was crazy was she comforted me so well. She hopped over the seat and sat on my lap and was like, babe, you don't have to worry. I feel the same way. I'm gonna take care of your heart. And it made me feel better. And we've been rocking ever since. But I had to go ahead and dig deep and let her know what was inside. For her to be like, okay, I feel that same thing. And then we connected on there and been strong ever since. But it was hard to do that though. It was.
See, that's a prime example of facing that fear. He had a fear of telling her that because he thought, okay, I'm giving my heart now, and that gives somebody the opportunity to stomp on it or hurt it, or I'm giving her this in her hand. I don't know if she's gonna be able to care for it like I expect it to be cared for. But then
Hmm.
him actually facing that fear and giving that to her, she's been taking care of his heart tremendously. Like he was able to cross over that hump with her, and it
That's
took
my
him
nurse.
fear to get there, right? That is very important and it's very scary. Hey, Aunt Debbie. Yes,
Ow.
she did say something that I wanted to go back to. She said, you can say sorry, but you cannot take words back. Words go deep.
Deeper than the ocean.
That is huge. That's huge. That's a big point of why we are saying that you got to think before you speak. You got to take the time. It's okay. You don't have to express it right then and there. It's okay to take some time to think about what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. It's how you say what you say is what matters the most. It's not what you say.
Cuz guess what? Guess what though,
What,
cuz?
what's up?
I smell burritos. You know what that means? It's a wrap.
We are going to cut it short and get up out of here. It's a wrap. That will end our session tonight. Come back and see us. Be with us every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. AZ time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. And we always gonna keep it real. Okay? That's gonna
All
be
day.
real talk,
We're gonna be
real
real lit
issues.
though. Super lit.
Yes. Real life, real issues, real talk, real lit. We love
Real lit,
y'all,
y'all.
and we will be right back with y'all a
Next
week from
Tuesday.
today, 6 p.m. And we got technical difficulties together, so we're going to be on time.
We're gonna be on time next time.
Love
We ain't gonna be
y'all.
on that black folk time.
Right. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Hey.